All right, good evening all. You're welcome to today's tutorial with From a Catholic to Schoolboy. Today we will take a look at biology. But before then, I would like us to take note of the following. I have take down this. The topic we have is living organisms. We are in the topic living organisms. But on that living organisms, I want you to take down these assignments. We'll review it tomorrow, first thing tomorrow. So take down this assignment before we go to the outline and other things we have. Number one, assignment review number one. Which of these combinations is common to plants and animal cells? Which of these combinations is common to plants and animal cells? A. Centrioid. Option A, centrioid, middle lamella, Golgi bodies, mitochondrion. Option B, cytoplasm, sap vacuole, starch grains, leucoplasts, C, plasma membranes, chromosomes, mitochondria, lysosomes, D, nucleus, nucleolus, cellulose cell wall, endoplasmic reticulum. That's question number one. So the question says, which of these combinations is common to plants and what? Animal cells. Number two, where is energy produced in the cell? Number two, where is energy produced in the cell? Where is energy produced in the cell? A, nucleus. B, nucleolus. C, lysosomes. D, mitochondria. Where is energy produced in the cell? These are the options. Number three, Which of the following cell constituents is not common in both plants and animals? Which of the following cell constituents is not common in both plants and animals? A. Mitochondria. Which of the following cell constituents is not common in both plants and animals? A. Mitochondria. B. Chloroplasts. C. Ribosomes. D. Golgi apparatus. Number 4. Golgi apparatus. Number 4. An amoeba and unlaid, UNLAID. An amoeba and unlaid amoeba. An amoeba and unlaid chick eggs. An amoeba and unlaid chick eggs are A. An amoeba and unlaid chick eggs are A. Animal tissues. B. A. Animal tissues. B. Organelles. C. Single cell. D. Organisms. An amoeba and unlaid chicks are animal tissues, organelles, single cell, organisms. Number 5. Number 5. A characteristic that can possibly be shared. A characteristic that can possibly be shared by both living and non-living organisms is a characteristic. Any problem? Are you sure? Okay. Please, any spelling you don't get, please ask me. Don't be shy, okay? Good. We are here to learn. A characteristics that can possibly be shared by both living and non-living organisms is A. Locomotion. B. Irritability. C, increase in biomass. D, increase in size. Increase in size. This is the assignment I want us to. If you go home now, get your biology textbook, get your Google, your phone, browse it, answer this question. Please listen carefully. For those that join us newly, we have a rule on our assignments. You don't just go online and see the question, maybe somewhere, and come and tell me A. No. You should be able to explain why you choose what. Why the A. You can't just come and tell me that the answer is A. Maybe number one is come and say centurion. No. There must be a reason why you chose that as a two of us. You should be able to tell us, you should be able to analyze these options one after the other. Why is it A? Are you listening? Why is it A? Why is it not B? Why is it not what? C? And why is not what? D? And for you to be able to say why is not B, that means you should know what B is. True of us. So the secret to this thing is this: if you try to understand all the options, look them up, study them. Like now, if you want to answer number 3 question, you don't just come and tell me pick one. No, you should use the opportunity to look at what is even mitochondria, what is even chloroplast, what is it all about. Then what is it? What is ribosome? You should look it up, know what they are and what they mean and what they do in the cell. Golgi apparatus. What is even Golgi apparatus used for? You should be able to do what? Do this analysis on your own. Then you now relate it to the question you are asked before you can choose the correct what answer. So if you come out here tomorrow to analyze these things, don't come out here and be looking as if you are lost. Look it up now and study it. That's what I want to say on that. So we'll continue with our lectures. Now, as I said, the topic is what? Living what? Organisms. And under this topic, I want us to put down the things we expected. We expect to do under this topic. Please put them down. Put them down. So the topic is what? Living organisms. Under this topic, we'll treat living organisms. We'll go down to talk about the subtopics under it is what? Number one is characteristics of what? Living organisms. Number one, the subtopics under this. Number one is what? Characteristics of what? Living organisms. Characteristics of what? Living organisms. We look at the characteristics of living organisms, which I think we have done that one, right? Right? Yes, we have done that. I'm just trying to have an overview of those that just join us, what we have done, and continue from where we stop, okay? Because if I just come boom and start talking about it, they become confused, okay? So this is what we have done already. Characteristics of what? We are done with that. Is there anything we have done with that? Characteristics of what? Living organisms. We are done with that, but just for them to know where we are. So the second part is cell structure and functions of cell components. Cell structure and functions of what? Cell components. Cell structure and functions of what? Cell components. Cell structure and functions of what? Cell components. Then the third part is levels of organization. Levels of organization. Levels of what? Organization. Now write this down. Write number one, characteristics of living things. Characteristics of living things. We have done that, but I just want to mention where what you expected to know under this topic, as far as this syllable is concerned, as far as this syllable we are using is concerned, what you expect to know, so that those that we are not there, we get the material or listen to the lectures we uploaded on our YouTube. Listen to these lectures on catalysis of what? Living things. Then look at it critically. Then know exactly what they expected to do what? No. So the objectives under this thing, write the objective. The objective of the topic is what you expect to do what? Know by the end of the word topic. Okay? So at the end of this subtopic, the student should be able to differentiate between at the end of this subtopic, the students should be able to differentiate between, sorry, not should, right? Would there is better. We'll be able to differentiate between the characteristics of living and non-living things. So those that we are here, when we did this topic, can you distinguish between the characteristics of living things and non-living things? Can you do that? Can you do that? Huh? Chinay, you are there. Who and who we are there? Is it true you are there? You are there, right? Chinay, when you were there, right? Are you okay? Are you sure? Okay. So these are where you should focus on when you are studying the material. We have done this topic. We are not going back there again, okay? But you can listen to lectures online, then collect materials from those here. So because we cannot keep moving back, front and back. It's not healthy. So this topic has been what? Extensively treated, and the students should do what? And we have, and you have also been tested. We did assignment or review on that. Now let's go to cell structure and functions of cell components. Cell structure and functions of cell components. The objective, that is the next topic we enter, okay? But I want to have a rundown of what you expect under this topic. Cell structure and functions of what? Cell component. At the end of this subtopic, the student will be able to, at the end of this subtopic, the student will be able to, identify the cell structures. Yes. After this topic, you should be able to identify the cell structures. That's number 1. Number 2, analyze the functions of the component of plants and animal cell. Analyze the functions of the components of what? Plants and animal cell. After this class, you should be able to you will definitely be able to do what? Analyze this what? Components of plants and animal cell. Their function. Golgi body. What the Golgi body is? What is the functions of what? Golgi body. Ribosome. What functions of what? Ribosome. Lysosome. What functions of what? Lysosome. Mitochondria. What functions of what? Mitochondria. You should be able to do that after this topic. If you are able to do it, that means you didn't learn anything. 2 of us. So, then the last one is that compare and contrast the structure of plants and animal cells. If you watch, this assignment I gave revolves around these 3 key points. Compare and contrast the structure of what? Plant and what? Animal cell. Compare and contrast between the what? Structures of what? Plants, and compare and contrast between the structure of what? Plant and what? Animal cell. Are we together? Are we together? So this is what we expect to do under this topic. Ensure you do what? Do your work. Don't go home and pack the book and keep and go and sleep and come out here without anything. I won't take that. If I notice that you are becoming too relaxed about it, I'll sanction you. I don't tolerate that. Please take it seriously. Okay? Please, I beg you. Had it been you do the assignment now, we would have spent the time we spent trying to. Because after explaining, you see some people asking questions because they don't know it. And we have textbooks at home, and we have discussed this. He did this in this class. It doesn't make sense to me. But we keep pushing. That's why we are here. All right, so let's look at cell structure and what? Functions of cell what? Components. You can't be talking about cell structure without knowing what a cell is, right? So what is a cell? What is a cell? The what? Structural, functional, structural, basic unit of life. Any contrary definition? Good. So that's what a cell is. A cell is what, as he says, structural, but basically, most importantly, functional. Basic what? Unit of what? Life. What it means is that if I carry out Michael now and if possible, dissect him, the smallest, the basic unit that make up Michael, this Michael we are looking at now, is what? Cell. Everything ends in the what? Cell. If you eat food, the food you eat ends where? In the what? The nutrient from the food ends where? In the cell. That is, cell is a very important aspect of our system because that is the building block. Are we together? Cell is the what? The building block. So if your cell is not healthy, you are not what? Healthy. So that's why she said that cell is what? Basic what? Structural and what? Functional what? Unit of what? Life. Now, I want to have a kind of a brief history of what actually happened, even though it's not in your syllabus. But let's just a kind of I'll give an overview of what happened. I'm not going into detail. Who is the first person that published a work or discover what actually cell is all about? Whose name? In what year? 16 what? 47. What? Okay. When did Robert Hooke? When did Robert Hooke came up? Child, she can't remember. Can't remember. Child. Child. Izu. Child. Kelafia. Chibuzo. You always copy when others are done copying. No idea. Now, let me start from the work of Robert Hooke, because that is the work that is very, very significant in the discovery of what? Cell. Okay? So Robert Hooke was an English what? Scientist. What happened is this. He got a cork. He got this thing, a slice of a cork. You know that thing that they used to, who has taken, do you know what a cork is? A cork. It's wooden, right? It's wooden, good. So he took a slice of it and viewed under what? Microscope. Maybe during his work. And discovered something that made a change in what actually going on in the what? Human body. He now discovered something. He now discovered that on looking at that cork under the microscope, he found out that what looks like small rooms, small what? Rooms that have boundaries. So what looks like this? What look like this? What look like this? Like this. This is how they look like. Small rooms. Small rooms that have boundaries. And with small inside it like this. Hello? This is what he saw. He was there asking, what is this? That's why they named it what? Cell. Am I concluding? He named it what? That's where the name cell what came from. That's why if you go to, they'll tell you that if they want to say that the police arrested somebody and he's in the cell, okay? Cell is taken as small words. Even in normal English language, cell is small rooms that are bounded, that are on their own. But this one, that they are together. So that is from that work, that is where, from there, a lot of scientists started looking at what cell is actually all about. So he now, in 1966, what happened in this? In 1966, he published, in 1665, he published his work on what he observed in what? Cell. So he said that these things are boxes, small rooms, boxes, and in trying to describe these things he saw, he called them what? Cells. He called them what? Cells. He called them what? Cells. And cells came from Latin, which means what? In Latin it means what? Small what? Small what? Room. That's actually the meaning of what? Cell. Small what? Room. So, since then, a lot of things started happening. Up to 150 years later, the type of microscope we have today is not the same thing with the type of microscope we had that time, okay? As time went on, different levels of different. Are you with us? Are you sure? Look as if you are reading. Now, as time went on, different works, different types of more sophisticated microscopes started coming out that help to actually find out what is actually in the what? Those small rooms he called what? Cell. But that was about 150 years later. So other improved microscope started emerging, and other scientists started studying what actually happens, what actually is in this cell. Now it's through this work that they realize that this cell is very important in living what? Organism, and that the wall of this cell is not actually what? It's not actually the living part of it. That is what is what the contents of the what cells. Then other scientists started working, like zoologists, Theodor Schwann, and the botanist Matthias Schleiden. They started looking at this thing, and from there, from their work and the work of others like Rudolf Virchow, that is a German biologist, we now came to what we call what cell what theory. Who knows cell theory here?
The cell in human body and the cell in electricity.
Okay, so no. That is something. Cell in human body is living, electricity is not living. Okay, it just okay. Set you raise your hand before. You raise your hand. You want to say something? Okay, cell theory. Okay. Cell does what? Is it true? Cell theory. Is it true? Is it true? Cell begets cell. Do you agree with her? Cell theory. Remember, this I'm just having an overview because our focus is just to go straight to the structures. And okay, but I don't just want to go to structure straight. I go to your syllabus, but I just want to have an overview of what cells like. Refresh our memory before going to what cellular components. Okay. Number two, another one. I agree with you. Another one. Put it well. You have an idea, but put it well. You are talking about the meaning, but it's now a theory. So state it. Let's hear you. I think that you are talking about the same thing, but in different ways. Okay, now put this down. The cell theory. The cell theory says that all living organisms are composed of what? One or more cells. Are you together? All living organisms are composed of what? One or more cells. Good. Then this one is from the definition we all know. That the cell is what? The structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Cell is what? The structural and functional unit of all living organisms. And is the basic organizational unit of life. And is the basic organizational unit of what? Life. A cell is what? The structural and functional unit of all living organisms. And is the basic organizational unit of what? Life. That's the meaning. That is the basic organizational unit of what? Life. It's basic because every living organism must have what? A cell. True of us. If not, that one is not a living organism. Now let's continue. The third one says that all existing cells come from what? Reproduction of what? Pre-existing cells. All existing cells come from where? The reproduction of pre-existing. You know what we mean by pre-existing? Good. All existing cells come from where? The reproduction of what? Pre-existing cells. That's why you say it talks about that the first thing you say, that the cell begets cell. That's why I say that I agree with you. Now, another a very important aspect of this theory is that whose phone is ringing? Who's your own? It's not my own is off. It's in silence. Whose phone is ringing? What is this? Huh? Okay, now it says, last one says, a cell contains, this one talks about what? Talks about what? Here what? Here what? Here what? Without it, cell, no, let me detect. Put this down. It says a cell contains information for its structural and functional development. A cell contains information for its structural and functional what? Development in the what? Nucleic acid. A cell contains information for its structural and functional development in its nucleic acid. These cells contain what is called what? Nucleic acid. And every information that has to do with development and function of the cells is contained in the what? Nucleic acid. That's why we have DNA, RNA. This information are in the what? Nucleic acid. And this information is passed from where? One generation to what? Another. Or simply put, from parent to what? Offspring cells. From parent to offspring cells. So he's saying that every cell, they have what is called coded information. That is the gene, right? Gene, right? Is gene part of DNA or DNA part of gene? Is gene part of DNA? Good. So every information that has to do with what? The structural and functional development of cell is contained in the word gene, which is in the what? Nucleic what? Acid. And this nucleic acid, this information is passed from what? One generation to what? Another. From parent to offspring cells. From parent to what? Offspring cells. So these things are just a brief summary of what cell theory is all about. Now, from the work of these men, I don't want to go in deep into what they did. From the work of these men, they now came to this conclusion of what this theory of cells. Remember when we did our scientific method, right? Before they could get to this theory, they actually passed through what? These stages. Hope you know. Remember, hypothesis, observation, hypothesis, experiment. If it is true, it becomes a what? Theory. So this is cell what? Theory. So it passed through this before they could get to this what? Level. Now, cell, even though we still do levels of organization. Cell is living, right? It's living, right? Good. But the components of cells are not what? Living. The organelles are not what? Living. They are not living things. They are simply molecules and macro what? Organelles. Actually, what happens is that we have atoms. That's why in our chemistry class I say that chemistry is everything. We have atoms. From atom you have what? Molecules. From molecules you have macro molecules. From macromolecules, atoms come together to form molecules. Molecules come together to form macromolecules. And macromolecules come together to form organelles. From atom to organelles, they are non-living. Immediately, the organelles interact with each other to form cells. Life begins at what? Cell. So a cell is what? Living. Cell is what? Living. But the organelles that make up the cells are not what? Are not what? Living. Is that not amazing? How can you explain that? How can you explain that? This is where science and scientists drop cap for God. You can't explain this level. You can't do what? Explain this one. How do non-living things interact to come together to form a living thing? You can't explain it. Explain it. Explain. Let's hear you.
Non-living, they will come together. They will make living.
They make living how?
Non-living plus non-living.
You are just joking. How? You can't explain how.
You can explain it to some extent.
Oh yeah, try.
When we perform the functions of life, when they come together.
How? Why? So what made them to perform that function when they come together?
Louis Pasteur disproved that spontaneous generation. We say that non-living thing can give birth to living thing.
Give birth. Non-living things can
give rise to living thing. Okay,
how?
Like ano, like Islam, like that ano, Israel, like that's that theory of spontaneous generation.
So let's explain it now. How?
That theory state that living, non-living give rise to living.
How? How? Which process?
Like. But how could living thing?
See, scientists there is this portion of those that study their Bible well. Now this portion they say, even though it look more like a folk tale, but they say that God did what? From the sand of the earth, right? He molded, right? He molded man, right? And did what? And man became what? A living thing. At that same point, interaction of non-living thing coming together, that clay and the breath of God make it what? Living. Now, macromolecules. Even if you don't understand what I'm saying, macromolecules, organelles. That if you get these organelles now, they are filled with what? Molecules. Now, these macromolecules now, how do they come together? After forming organelles, how do they come together and became a living cell? Then cell come together to form human being and other higher organisms. How can you explain that? You can't explain it. They've tried to explain. That's why after approving, they keep approving and disapproving. I would think you keep approving and do what? Disapprove. That is where human being knowledge stops. They can only tell you they interact to form a living thing, but they can't explain how. I want to know how. That's what I want to know. It happened, but I want to know how did it happen.
Is that right now?
See, a lot of things are you can't explain. But just know that we just take it like that the organelles came together and formed what? Cell. Now, these cells now, that's why virus, listen carefully, that's why virus is below cell. Virus is at level of what? Macromolecules. All together. Virus is at level of what? Macromolecules. Mainly what? Nucleic acid and protein. Protein is the coat. Nucleic acid is what is inside. True of us. If the nucleic acid inside is DNA, it becomes a DNA what? Virus. If the nucleic acid is what? RNA, it becomes a what? An RNA what? Virus. But when they gain outside, they are just non-living because they are just what? They are just what? They are not cells. They are just what? They are just what is called again? Macro molecules. But when they gain access into the human body or into the body of a living organism, they will tap current from that breath and become what? Living. But science can't explain it. Science will say, yes. They will now start using the genetic makeup. That's what you hear. Genetic makeup of the what? Individual, and start replicating. But when they are outside the body, they become non-living. Why? They have been cut off from the source of life. True of us. Such that is, you can't explain it properly. So I just want to have an overview with us, okay, on this, so that I'll spark our mind to really, look through. If you open our book to read, you appreciate what we are doing. Now, in our next class, we go into cell structure. That's why I gave you this assignment. We pick different structures of the cell, okay? Now, basically, a cell has what is called, we have the two major parts of the cell are what and what? Who knows that? Two major parts of the cell are what and what? Basically, they are what and what? We have what? The nucleus and what?
Cytoplasm.
And what? And what? Nucleus and what?
Plastic.
I'm listening. Who will tell us? Nucleus and what? Okay. Let me draw something here so that you can. With that, we'll end today's class. Let me draw something here on the board. So that will explain that. That will explain that. Look at it. The cell, you have what is called we have proto-what, plasma what, and what? Membrane. Okay? Are we together? Then under protoplasm we have what? Nucleus and what? And what? Cytoplasm. This is what basically what the cell is what? Made up of. We have the nucleus, the protoplasm and the cell, we have protoplasm and the what? Plasma membrane. Then under the protoplasm we have the what? The nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. So the organelles we are going to discuss we are there present. We are there suspended where? Cytoplasm, right? Good. So I think any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? No question. Ask your question if you have any. Because we are going to draw the curtain here. In our next class, we now pick them one after the other. We pick Okay. Let me ask a question. Between protoplasm and the plasma membrane, which one is the living component? Huh? Protoplasm. Okay. I think I mentioned it here, right? Okay. So, in absence of any question, we'll end it here. We have opened our door for biology, for cell structure and the components. So I want us to really, the idea is taking time for me. It's because you people we are wasting my time. Simple mathematics, simple exponential equation. If we are doing like what I don't know. Simple exponential equation. Is it because of why and today is Thursday? You doing, is it because weekend that caused it? You drank pap. All right, so thank you very much for today's class. Please, tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow we'll review our assignment on biology. Tomorrow we have what tomorrow? Chemistry, right? Chemistry. Please, I want you to really go through your work, go through what we did in chemistry, please, so that if you come to this class, you contribute meaningfully to our class here. Please go through what we did in chemistry. Do you have any pending assignment in chemistry? Okay, we're in there. Do you have any pending assignment there? No pending assignment. So tomorrow we'll continue from where we stopped. I think we are done with mixtures, right? We are in compound now, right? We are in chemistry. Where? Are we done with compound? Huh? We are done with compound. So we will go. Okay, no problem. Tomorrow we start from here. We stop. Maybe we enter separation techniques. Don't worry. By tomorrow we'll talk about that. All right. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Izu. Yeah, good. Alpha. It was what? It was what you want. What's it? No one name again. Okay. Ngano. Kilafia. UI. Okay.